Um,
Yeah. All right, guys, we are back for a U.S. Open Cup match preview. It is myself as usual. Ron's here.
Hey guys.
Hey, Ron. And then we have Guillermo from Chicago Fire Confidential at what was the website?
ChicagoNow.com/fire.
There you go. So, guys, if you ever need any fire-related information, Guillermo is your man. So we'll jump right in. Last U.S. Open Cup, we got Columbus. We got at home, and we got their B squad. We won, which makes me happy because I don't personally like Columbus. Anyway, Chicago had Charlotte, and they won pretty easily. We've played Chicago once, and we won. Well, on the scoreboard we won. They kind of beat themselves with two own goals, and they have their three designated players: Igbiaki, Akam, and Maloney. I don't think Maloney has played yet, or maybe Guillermo will be able to help us out a little bit when we get to that. And so we'll just my first point of contention is David Akam. He crushed us last game. He had a goal. He had an assist. Looked almost like a man amongst boys, in my opinion. He was just looked really fast. And last game, when we played Chicago, he was lined up on the right. And last game for Chicago, oh yeah, they're coming off two losses to Columbus too, one home, one away. And last game for Chicago, he lined up on the left. So I'm gonna ask Guillermo. My first question is where is a Cam gonna line up? And does he always switch, or is he, just recently switching to the left? And then after Guillermo answers this question, I want to find out from Ron how a Cam is going to attack our back line, and if it's going to be against Bowden or it's going to be against Ramos, how he lines up, because obviously Bowden is much slower than Ramos. So Guillermo, the floor is yours on David Akam.
Yeah, Akam's typically a left-sided midfielder. He has switched from left to right with Harry Shipp. Uh, like you mentioned in the game against Orlando, there was a lot of back and forth from side to side, but he's typically a left-sided player. I think you'll see him on the left side come Wednesday night. Patrick Nyako is back now, and he's been playing, and so he started on the right side against Columbus on Sunday. So I think the chances are you'll see both Akam and Nyako, who when they're both fit and they're both at the top of their game, they're going to create a lot of problems for teams defensively because they're both very creative. They both have a lot of pace. I think you mentioned Akam. Part of the problem with the Fire this year is they haven't been able to keep Akam healthy, and they've lost him for international duty. He's come back from international duty injured, and until a week ago, he had been sitting out because of a hamstring injury after coming back from the international team in Ghana. I think you're going to see Akam on the left side. So if it's Ramos, I would imagine that you're going to want a little bit more pace against Akam and both Nyako. So I would imagine Ramos would be the choice.
All right,
Uh,
and Ron, go ahead.
Guillermo, I haven't followed the Fire's run through the Open Cup so far. Do you expect a close to full strength lineup on Wednesday?
Yeah, I think the Fire are in a position where they can't afford to lose or be eliminated in the U.S. Open Cup, so they're going to try to throw out its best lineup they can of the guys that are available. They've struggled in the regular season, and I think the focus of what they have remaining, at least realistically, is going to be the U.S. Open Cup. I think they're going to be hard-pressed to really get back into the playoff race unless they go on a hell of a run here at the end of the season. I think the team realizes that. I think Frank Yallop is going to put all the focus onto this game Wednesday, and they've got a game Saturday. I think that game right now is secondary following this U.S. Open Cup game. I think you're going to see pretty close to full choice lineup from the guys that are available. Sean Maloney is finally back from injury. He practiced today, but he's been gone for 3 weeks, so I don't know you'll see him start. He's probably going to be on the bench. Mike McGee is injured, picked up a knock in the last midweek game against Columbus, and probably won't play on Wednesday. So, yeah, I think you'll see Yella throw out a first choice lineup, or as best he can anyway.
And do you have lots of players injured other than those two, or are you pretty much fit outside of McGee and Maloney?
Yeah, Jeff Lorenowitz is out, and he has been out for the last several weeks with a bulging disc in his neck. he's one of the big losses because they've had instances where they've had to start and mix and match in the back line, and that's been a problem because they have been particularly good even when they're healthy. But they're getting closer. They're getting closer. I think Jeff Soranowitz and Sean Maloney are close to being back. You probably won't see them start. Definitely won't see Lorenowitz start on Wednesday. Another player to look for is Jovan Jones, who's been with Trinidad and Tobago during the Gold Cup, and he's actually been fantastic for Trinidad and Tobago. He's been very good for the Fire as well. He will be back with the team starting tomorrow in training, and he should be available on Wednesday night as well.
All right, so Ron, how do you think a Cam will stack up? We'll call it against Ramos.
Well, I think they'll switch him. Obviously, I think they'll put him on whatever matchup they think's better. I think he could, it could be the left side for 15 minutes, it could be the right side for 15 minutes. They're going to move him around to find the best place for him. If that matchup ends up being on Bowden, I still think Bowden can handle him. I think Chicago is really going to. If we come out with a strong lineup, Chicago is going to be dangerous on the counterattack against us. That's how I'm pretty sure they scored at least one of their 2 goals when we played the first time. So they have a lot of speed and they're dangerous that way. I think Chicago will make some mental errors or they'll do something to shoot themselves in the foot, but we're very used to doing that. Yeah, we're good. Orlando City's good at doing that too. So much like last game, I think it could be who makes less mistakes. But as far as an outcome, I mean, they'll probably if Ramos should be able to handle them, but Bowden can't do it. If they have to drop a center or a defensive bid that way, you have to do something to stop him.
And I'll just spin off Ron's comment there, Guillermo. How do you think? What is the most prone mistake that Chicago makes to hurt themselves? Because he said he thinks that you guys will shoot yourself in the foot, but I guess my question is how so? So what's the most common way?
The biggest issue they've had this year defensively is second balls off of set pieces. Over and over again, they've just lost their marks, lost concentration. It's been at the wrong time, and it's been at the worst times. You mentioned the game against you guys back in early June where Ailton had 2 own goals. That's been the problem all season. And when it's not the lack of goal scoring because they're missing offensive players, it's been sloppy defending, and particularly on set pieces that have cost them games. I think that's been the biggest issue.
Okay, and I'm just gonna get this. One of my fan channel followers. He specifically asked. I'm just trying to get his name. Justin Siperoth wanted to know who do we think will respectively field for the match. So we've kind of touched on this, Justin. I think Orlando City will field a full squad. I think our back line will be, Ramos, Collins, St. Ledger, and Bowden. I think both of our starting defensive mids will start. I think we see Higuita and Seren. I think we see either Lewis Neal or Avila on the right mid, Kaká in the middle, and Rivas on the left. And at striker, I think that we'll see Kyle Larin, because I know that the weekend he's going to be suspended, so that would leave me to believe he'll play midweek, and then this weekend we will start Ribeiro. So, Ron, what do you think about the team that we will field?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're going to give Kyle a go on Wednesday, Kyle Larin, because obviously he can't play Sunday. If I was a coach, I'd probably sit him on the bench just because of that red card the other day. But forgetting about that for a second, I think you could see Seb Hines instead of Sean St. Ledger. They might choose just to give St. Ledger some rest just because he's still got that shoulder that's not 100%. And other than that, I think you'll see a full strength lineup. I think you'll see Carlos Rivas on the left, which he's going to be our version of David Acam. He's the guy that Chicago's going to have to deal with all game long. And then you're right. I think we'll see Avila move back to right mid, and I think there is some potential that you could see Lewis Neal play for Darwin Seren if they feel he needs a rest. But other than that, I mean, Christian Higuita is suspended on Sunday as well, so they're going to pretty much have to play him on Wednesday. And then you'll see Tally Hall in goal, because I think, like Chicago, even though we're in a little better position than them in the Eastern Conference table, I do think we're committed to this Open Cup run now. I don't think we would have played a strong lineup last match if we weren't, going to put a strong lineup out this match. So I think you'll see both teams' best games, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, I don't think that we're in it. I don't think that we're, committed. I know that we're committed. Coach Heath said he's trying to win. He thinks it's the best opportunity the team has for CONCACAF. So, that's why my projection reflects that. And Guillermo, can you please tell us the full starting 11 that you expect to see for Chicago?
I'm expecting pretty close to the best of what Yallop has available. You'll probably see Ada Yilton and Eric Gehrig at center back, Patrick Duty at left back, possibly he played Matt Polster at right back on Sunday against Columbus, but you may see Lavelle Palmer back there again. He's had some issues where they decided to keep him home for the road trip, but apparently he'll be available Wednesday. You should be able to see the starting center midfield pairing of Razvan Koshish and Matt Polster back together again. It's been a couple of games just because of injury. They've moved Polster around from midfield to center back to right back. On the outside, I'm expecting David Akam and Patrick Nyako to be available. Mike McGee is not going to be available, so I suspect you'll see Harry Shipp playing underneath as a second striker like he did against Columbus on Sunday, and possibly Kennedy Iguananike as the lead forward or the center forward. Jason Johnson got the start there against Columbus on Sunday. He's suspended for the weekend after picking up 2 yellow cards, but it could be either Jason Johnson or Iguananike. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be Iguananike right now.
You took my question. That's what I was going to ask you. Which one would you prefer? So Iguananike. And Ron, you were about to say something?
So Guillermo, you think they keep that 4-4-1-1 type formation going that they used last game?
Yeah, I think he'll keep that. He's kind of gone back and forth between 4-4-1-1 or kind of a 4-2-3-1, depending on how you look at it. The lineups,
right.
Formation switches a little bit depending on who they're playing and where guys are actually in the field. But yeah, I think you'll see. And Kennedy Iguananike hasn't really been what they thought he was going to be coming in. They brought him as a designated player, and he really hasn't produced. So it's possible you see Jason Johnson get a start again, but I think at some point they're going to have to find out if they're going to get anything out of Iguananike. He didn't start against Columbus on Sunday. He came in later in the game. The toss-up right now is to who Yallop throws out there, just because Johnson started on Sunday. You might see Iguananike this coming Wednesday.
Well, we know your hardships with having designated players who do not do anything for your team, especially ones who maybe lose passports or get stuck in other countries. I am not going to mention any names, but those of you who follow Orlando City close enough know exactly who I'm talking about. So I think Ron is frozen. Ron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ron. Okay, your picture's frozen. So, did you have any other questions or anything that I missed that you wanted to discuss for tonight?
Nope, I think we did it. I think we know more about Chicago than we certainly did coming into the show. So.
Yeah, and Guillermo, did you have any questions maybe for some of your fans that Ron and I could help you, with about Orlando City?
Yeah, I'm just curious what you thought of it. You mentioned that first encounter in Chicago where the Fire kind of gave it away. I don't know if that's the way you guys see it, but I know the fans here in Chicago were upset because the Fire over the last 2 years have blown a lot of points at home where they give up late goals, and it seemed like that game in particular was a repeat of a lot of the nightmares from last year. Just kind of curious what your thoughts were after that first game in Chicago.
Sure, Ron, go ahead.
I remember that game specifically, and it was 2-1. Chicago was up. It was getting relatively late in the match, and pretty much everybody was going nuts on our side. I mean, we thought it was one of the worst games we'd played. That was when our attack was in a big rut, and then all of a sudden, obviously with 2 own goals to our benefit, and Kyle Larin had that kind of wonder strike where the ball just kind of found his feet. He just shot it and found the back of the net. We definitely know that we got out of that game with 3 points that we probably didn't deserve. So, we're not going to be homerism for you here. And that's what scares me because I thought Chicago matched up well. I mean, I thought we controlled the game like we generally do, but I thought Chicago was just very dangerous on the counter, and I expect that'll be the case again on Wednesday.
Guillermo, my sentiments on the game are that we 100% got points we didn't deserve. Addy Elton was man of the match in my opinion. So if you know Addy Elton or you can have any kind of access to him, tell him I say thank you for 3 points. We're gonna need every single one of those. And my other sentiments about that game, well, other than Tally Hall had an excellent save late in the game, I think it was like an 88 or 89. He really had a nice save. So I think that was, that was class. That was Tally Hall. He just kind of does that for us. And my only other thoughts about the game is when we start Lewis Neal on one side, in the attacking wings, and we start. When we start Lewis Neal on one side and we start Avila on the other side, we always tend to struggle. I just don't. It's just because I don't think that they're both quality players, but I don't think that they're attacking at the rate that we need for our offense to go. So when it's Neal and Avila together on the right and left, it just doesn't work for us, and I know that that's the lineup that we fielded versus Chicago that time. So obviously Rivas is much better on the left wing than Neal was. I think Neal's a solid player. I just don't think he has I know for a fact he doesn't have the speed that Rivas does, and so I think that our offense will be a little bit better, and that Rivas will open things up for us. I know Ron continually says that about his speed, so I guess I'm kind of stealing Ron's moment on Rivas there. But that's just the truth of the matter asserted, is that when we play Avila and Neal together, our offense is just like watching paint dry. So Guillermo, I hope that we answered your question sufficiently. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that answers it. I have another question regarding Kaká. The fans in Chicago have been upset for the last probably 6 years, basically ever since Cuauhtémoc Blanco left. Upset that Fire haven't gone out and signed a big marquee name. They brought in 3 DPs this offseason, but neither of the three, or none of the three, I think you can consider a big name or a big draw. David Accam has been very good when he's played. How has Kaká been for you guys and for the fans in Orlando? Has he been worth the big money that they paid to bring him?
Ron,
you want to go first or second? Because I think our answers are going to be really similar.
I'll go real quick. He's worth every penny. His just the marketing ability he brings. I mean, it helps that he's got 9 goals. That helps back up that money as well, even though most of those are penalty kicks. Yeah. But regardless, I mean, he's a leader. He's there for every press conference. I mean, you always wondered these high-priced DPs when you bring them in, what exactly you're going to get from them. But I don't know that we could have gotten anything more from Kaká than we have. I mean, he's been amazing. He's accessible. He'll sign every autograph. He'll take every picture, and he's been good on the field too. So there's really nothing to complain about as far as his game on or off the field.
I 100% agree. I mean, Kaká makes 70% of our payroll, and I think he deserves every penny of that 70%. And just to not speak of him, off the field, he's great off the field. I'm not trying to take that away from him, but on the field specifically, our offense goes through Kaká, and when he's having a bad night or when he was out on suspension after that red card, we're bad. So I think on the field he's making he's making his money, and I think off the field is just icing on the cake for us. And I don't know that I would rather have any other designated player at this point. I mean, call me a homer if you want, and I know that there's some good players out there, but I think Kaká is right there with the best players in the league. I mean, he sometimes looks a little slow, but he plays every minute of every game, and he plays hard every minute of every game, and he doesn't want to come off, and we're such a young team that we have to have that from him. So I think Kaká is worth everything, and I would be, if without Kaká, I don't know that we would even be in the playoff hunt right now, to be honest with you.
Sam, you sound like you're about to propose to him.
No, I'm actually already engaged. That's Kaká's bad. He missed out. I mean, I know he's married and he's got some kids, but I'm accounted for, guys and girls, mostly girls and guys. But hey, but it's just my honest opinion, you know. But anyway, I hope that. And Guillermo, did you have anything else you wanted to ask us?
Yeah, no, I think that I think from the outside looking in, as somebody who doesn't follow Orlando City every day, that definitely seems to be the perception from MLS cities and other fans outside of Orlando that Kaká has been everything as advertised, and I think that makes Fire supporters even more envious.
All right. Well, Ron, you got any other general points or anything you want to talk about? Nope. All right.
We covered it.
All right. Well, this is. Oh, hey, Ron, I have a quick question for you. Do you enjoy predictions as much as I enjoy them? Because this is like my favorite part.
I enjoy them when I was right the previous week. I don't. I'm on like a losing streak in 4 games, so this is when I don't enjoy them.
All right. Well, guys, we're gonna go into, as I just said, my favorite part, predictions. Guillermo, I'll let you go first.
Boy, picking MLS games is sometimes like throwing darts at a dartboard. You can never tell what's going to happen. I think if you get close to 50%, you're doing well.
Yeah.
The Fire's season is riding on this game. I know they were not happy about that result back on June 6th at home. I could see Orlando coming in and getting a win. The Fire have been disappointing when they've needed to come through. But considering that their season is probably riding in, I'm going to go 2-1 Fire.
All right. Ron?
I see this game. I see it being a tight game. I think it goes to extra time just because I think neither team wants at all to go to extra time, and just the way our seasons have been going lately, this game will probably go to extra time, which both coaches will hate. And then I think it will – I don't think it gets to penalty, though. I think somebody scores in extra time, and unfortunately I like Chicago in this game.
So what's your prediction?
2-1.
2-1 Chicago?
In extra time. Yep.
In extra time. All right, so they both just picked 2-1 Chicago. I'm going to be a total follow fashion monkey. 2-1 Chicago. Just, you know, I don't know what I was going to pick. I've been picking, you know, for Orlando City the last couple weeks, and we've been losing, so I'm going to pick for Chicago. I'm just going to be a little superstitious. Anyway, here is my typical rant. Make sure you guys, you know, read Ron's articles at City Soccer Talk. It's great stuff. Ron has him and Sean have a little morning show now, so make sure you catch City Soccer Talk live. They go every morning at 9, just discussing Orlando City's daily juicy stuff. And Guillermo, can you just tell everybody your Twitter handle and your website, please?
Yeah, Twitter is at FireConf, Fire CONF. And the website's chicagonow.com/fire, or you can even find it at chicagofireconfidential.com.
All right, well, there you go, guys. If you need any other information about Chicago, I would hope Guillermo would help you. I don't see why he wouldn't. Oh, and guys, one last point. Orlando, I said I will only talk transfers when we have concrete information. So Orlando City did make a trade today. We traded Amobi Akugo for I'm not even going to try his first name.
Servando Carrasco.
Yeah. We got a little Spanish thing going on. How was that again?
Servando Carrasco.
There we go. I was just going to say for Carrasco. So we dumped a huge salary for someone who wasn't playing and who didn't fit Coach Heat's system. Well, he fit the system, but I think the coach lost confidence in him, and in exchange, he lost confidence in himself. So I think a new start for him this year is probably a really good thing for Amobi Akugo. We wish Amobi Akugo the best, especially me personally. He's retweeted me a couple of times in regarding to starting the fan channel, so that was really huge of him. Ron, any thoughts about? Oh, and I tweeted out a little Carrasco highlight video. To me, he looked formidable. I think he'll be just a great depth play with Heath injured. I mean, we know who our starters are. I don't see him unseating either of those, especially if Akugo couldn't. So, Ron, do you have anything you want to add about Carrasco or?
Real quick, I just think it's more of a salary dump, so they have some financial flexibility going forward. I don't think he figures into the starting plans, but he does offer some depth, and he's a lot cheaper than Akugo. So there you have it.
And Guillermo, do you know about Carrasco or have any comments about the trade?
I think you guys covered it. He's a squad guy. He's a depth player. I think Ron hit it on the head. It's a move to clear up some space. I think Okugo was on 300K guaranteed for this year. So from what I understand, Orlando is still picking up a portion of that. But yeah, that smacks of salary dump all the way.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Two knowledgeable people's information, and then my just opinion, because that's all I can really give you guys. I really don't know that much. But anyways, guys, thanks for the watch. Make sure you get Ron City Soccer Talk in the morning. Make sure you guys get all your Chicago information from Guillermo, and we'll see. We all projected 2-1.
That's definitely Fire going to lose.
Well, fair enough. He's going back on it now. All right, guys. Well, thanks again, Ron. Thanks again, Guillermo. Thanks again, all you guys, for the follow and the watch. Peace out.
Thanks.